Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tojayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayesu Bhadresu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam
Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhaktin Bhavadir Naistiti
Bhaktim Bhavati Naisiti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya cha
Devaki Nandanaya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, text number 17. So the canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation, and the chapter name is The Lord is in the Heart. So please chant the sloga begin me. Na yatra kālo animiṣām prabhuḥ.
Na yatra
kālo animiṣām prabhuḥ.
Kuto nu devā jagatāṁ īśire.
Kuto nu devā jagatāṁ īśire.
Na yatra sattvam na rajas tamaś.
Na yatra sattvam na rajas tamaś.
Na vikāro na mahān pradhānam.
Na
vikāro na mahān pradhānam.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Na.
Na.
Not.
Not.
Yatra.
Yatra.
Wherein.
Wherein.
Kālaḥ.
Kālaḥ.
Destructive time.
Destructive time.
Animiṣām.
Animiṣām.
Of the heavenly demigods.
Of the heavenly demigods.
Paraḥ. Superior.
Superior.
Prabhuḥ.
Prabhuḥ.
Controller.
Kutaḥ.
Kutaḥ.
Where is there?
Where is there?
No.
No.
Certainly. Devāḥ.
Devāḥ.
The demigods.
Demigods.
Jagatāṁ.
Jagatāṁ.
The mundane creatures.
The mundane creatures.
Ye. Those. Īśire. Rules. Na. Not.
Yatra.
Therein.
Sattvam.
Sattvam. Mundane goodness. Na. Nor. Rajaḥ. Mundane passion. Tamaḥ. Mundane ignorance. Cha. Also. Na. Nor. Vai. Certainly. Vikāraḥ. Transformation. Na. Nor. Mahān. The material casual ocean. Pradhānam. Material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Vinayasi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, sir.
Translation, please repeat behind me. In that transcendental state of Rabdhopasanti, there is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of the demigods themselves,
demigods,
nor is there
nor is there
the mode of material goodness,
the mode of material goodness,
nor passion,
nor passion,
nor ignorance,
nor ignorance,
nor even the false ego,
nor even the false ego,
nor the material casual ocean,
nor the material causal ocean,
nor the material nature.
nor the material nature.
Purport. Devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods by its manifestations of past, present, and future, does not act on the transcendental plane. The influence of time is exhibited by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease. And these four principles of material conditions are present everywhere in any part of the material cosmos up to the planet Brahmaloka, where the duration of life of the inhabitants appear to us to be fabulous. Insurmountable time even brings about the death of Brahma. So, what to speak of other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, and Varuna? The astronomical influence directed by the direct demigods over mundane creature is also conspicuous by its absence. In material existence, the living entities are afraid of satanic influence, but for a devotee on the transcendental plane, there is no such fear at all. The living entities change their material bodies in different shapes and forms under the influence of the different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state, the devotee is gunatita, or above the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus, the false ego of I am the Lord of all the survey does not arise there. In the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over the material nature is something like the moths falling in a blazing fire. The moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when he comes to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes him. In the transcendental state, the living being is pure in its consciousness, and as such, he has no false ego to lord it over the material nature. Rather, his pure consciousness directs him to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudarlabha. All this indicates that the transcendental state, there is neither material creation nor the causal ocean for material nature. The above mentioned state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in the transcendentalist knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. Such transcendentalists are two types, namely the impersonalists and the devotees. For the impersonalists, the ultimate goal or destination is the Brahmajyoti or the spiritual sky, but for the devotees, the ultimate goal is the Vaikuntha planets. The devotees experience the above mentioned state of affairs by attainment of spiritual forms for activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But the impersonalist, because of his neglecting the association of the Lord, does not develop the spiritual body for spiritual activity, but remains a spiritual spark only, merged into the effulgence spiritual rays of the spiritual personality of Godhead. The Lord is the full-fledged form of entity, bliss, and knowledge, but the formless Brahmajyoti is simply eternity and knowledge. The Vaikuntha planets are also forms of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, and therefore the devotees of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get bodies of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, there is no difference between one and another. The Lord's abode, name, fame, entourage, etc. are of the same transcendental quality, and how this transcendental quality differs from the material world is explained here in this verse. In Bhagavad Gita, three principles subject have been explained by the Lord Sri Krishna, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But one can reach the Vaikuntha planets by the practice of Bhakti Yoga only. The other two are incompetent in helping one reach to Vaikuntha Lokas, although they can, however, conveniently take one to the effulgent Brahmajyoti as described above. Om Dasa. Ajnana-timirandasya jnanāñjana-śalākaya chakshurulmilindam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha namo Vishnu-pādāya Krishna-prasthāya bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavada Pashasha Deshadarni Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
जी.
Hare Krishna. Today's sloka, Sukadeva Goswami mainly talked about the time. There is a difference between time in the material world and the spiritual world. Since all the living entities are in this material world and the demigods also connected with the material world, they are there in the material world, all are bound by the time. But the spiritual world is not bound by the time. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord himself is explaining that he is the time, who is the controller of the time. He's the time. He's telling, I am time, he's saying. So in the material world, we can see that when time, the kāla chakra, when the time wheel, it is rotating always. So it is how we are calculating the time, how the earthly planet is rotating. So if it is rotating one direction, then it will be a daytime. Then rotating the other side, then it will become a night time. Then we will call it as a 1 day over. So like that, it is rotating the sun for 365 days. So then we are saying that it is 1 year over. So we are based on the movement of objects, we are calculating the time. So we are measuring the car is going 60 kilometers per hour, like that. So that measurement, how much distance one material object pass, and the time is calculated like that. So there are detailed explanation in Bhagavatam about time. The further chapters we can discuss. But here we will discuss how Krishna explained about the time in Bhagavad Gita. So in Bhagavad Gita 11.32 verse, Krishna, the Virat Rupa verse, this verse where Krishna was showing his Virat Rupa. There he was explaining him. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalosmi Lokashaya Krit Pravatto Lokan Samahartum Iga Pravartaha Ritepi Avam Ripeti Tvam Bhavishyanti Sarve Ye Avastitaha Prati Anikeshu Yotaha. So here in this verse, Krishna is telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, that means he is saying, that's what Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, time I am, kālo asmi, that means time I am. He is telling that he is the time, the great destroyer of the worlds. So he is the great destroyer of the world. Since it is in the battlefield, he was showing his Virat Rupa to Arjuna. That time, Krishna is telling that I am the time, I am the destroyer of this world. And I have come here to destroy all people with the exception of you, like that he is saying that. So the battlefield, why he came over here, for that he was giving the reason that I came over here to destroy all the people surrounding you. Except the Pandavas, I'm going to kill all the people. And he is saying all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So who are the soldiers are there in the both the sides? Everybody will be killed. So this is during the Virat Rupa, he was explaining to Arjuna. So here he is mentioning that he is the time. He is the destroyer, great destroyer. So Lord is, but see, the living entities, we are, since we are in this material where we are bound by the time. So even though we are willing or not willing, the time will pass. So accordingly, we will go through the 4 phases of life: birth, death, old age, and disease. We will see birth, we can't be stay like that only. It will grow. So when we grow, automatically we will get into the old age, then we will get the disease, and we will get the death. So because of this, time is getting affected us, so we are going through all these activities. So here in this sloka, in this today's sloka, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining this is not only for living beings, even the topmost material planet, which is the Brahma Loka, there Brahma is there, even he is also subject to under the control of the time. And his lifetime may be millions of years, but he is also need to leave his body one day. He's also going through this all his birth, death, old age, and disease. He will also die. So even the Brahma, topmost devata, demigod is that Brahma is also going through. Then what to speak of other demigods? Indra, Chandra, sun, moon, all those demigods, they'll also go through the similar fashion of, according to their lifetime, they will be there and they will get destroyed. Because that's the reason, whatever the things are available in this material world, overall, they're everybody under the influence of time. But the same time, the time, there is no the time influence in the spiritual world. In spiritual world, always it will be, because the spiritual world is not bound by the time, because the Lord is there. So Lord is, he is the time controller. So there is no birth, death, old age, disease there in the spiritual world. And always and also Lord is saying that once the person come back to my abode, there is no, he won't go through any repeated birth and death. So there is no birth, no death in the spiritual world. That means the time influence is not there in the spiritual world. So that's what Krishna is explaining. And in Bhagavad Gita 8.17 is again duration of the Brahma. He is explaining. Sahasrayuga Pariyantam Ahuryat Brahmano Vidhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Te Ahoratra Vido Janaha. He's saying, by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also in the duration of his night. So there are thousands of years it will take, the human calculation year it will take to calculate the one day of Brahma. The same amount of time it will take, the thousands of years it will take for the night, from Brahma's one day. So this here he is giving the explanation. And in the 8th point, the next sloka, Krishna is talking about avyukta vyaktaya sarvata prabhavante agar agame ratri agame pralayante tatrai vyakta samjnaghe. He is saying that at the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. So when the Brahma's days begin, what will happen? All the manifestation happen, all the creations happen. And eventually, at the end of the Brahma's life, sorry, not Brahma's day, when the night begins, what will happen? Then all the living entities get into the unmanifested form. So this is the way the Brahma's day and night, the living entities get manifested and unmanifested. And in the 8.19, Krishna is saying that Bhuta gramaha sa yevayam bhutva praliyate ratri agame avasyaha partam prabhavati ahur agame. So he is saying that again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. So he is saying that. So here, again and again. So Brahma's, see how our day is passing, similar way, Brahma's day is passing. So in the Brahma's one day, we took thousands of birth. Our thousands of years are there. That means thousands of birth we already took in the material world. Birth, death, old age, diseases, it is the cycle we were there. Then when the Brahma's night arrives, what will happen? Helplessly we will get annihilated again. So anyway, we are getting into the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, repeating. And at the time of night, Brahma's night, what will happen? Again, we are getting to the unmanifested form. We are getting to the body of Lord Vishnu. And in 8.20, again Krishna is saying that parastasmastu bhavanyo vyaktyo vyaktas sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsuna vinasyati. you think that yet there is another unmanifest, he's talking about a spiritual world now. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, where is eternal and it is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So he is talking about the spiritual world. So when the annihilation happen, only this material world will get annihilate, but the spiritual world, it is eternal. It won't get affected by any of this manifestation and unmanifestation. So it won't control. It won't controlled by this time. That's the reason the spiritual world, even the material world getting annihilated, that time spiritual world will be remain as it is. That's what Krishna is saying. So there is no destruction. It won't get destroyed at any point of time, the spiritual world. So in the next sloka, in the 8.21, Krishna is saying that avyukto sharat iti yuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante taddama paramam mamam. So Krishna is saying that which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. So here he is saying that he is confirming that the Vedantist will describe that is the infallible and the unmanifest world, and that is the supreme destination for all the living entities. That is the topmost destination we can reach. And once we reach, we won't never return. The person won't never return to this material world. So that Krishna is saying that there I am living. That is my abode. That is my house. That's what Krishna is saying. So Krishna clearly explained in this Bhagavad Gita, all the slokas, if you see, he is explaining that what is the purpose of life, what we need to do here, and how it will affect, how the time is affecting us, and what is our destination. So everything is clear in this slokas. And in Krishna also saying in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyante vasudevam sarvam iti sa mahatma sudarlabha. That means after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is such a great soul is very rare. So Krishna is saying that the person who is getting into the touch with Krishna, who is surrendered to the Krishna, that he is explaining that person. He is saying that after many births and deaths, Bahunam Janmanam Andi, that means after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrender unto me. So after many births and deaths, based he will get the person who will get the knowledge, that person will surrender unto me. Then what he will know? He will know me to the cause of all causes and all that is. So that person, what he will know? Supreme Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes. That knowledge he will have. So once we understand that he is the cause of all causes, what will happen? Our false ego will go off from us. Because currently we are thinking that we are the controller. At least we are in the state, in the state government, the topmost person, the chief minister is thinking that I am the controller of this state. The country controller, the topmost person, prime minister or president, he is thinking that I am controller of this in this country. And in the home, we are thinking that we are the controller of this family. So this is the false ego. Because of the false ego, that we are the false consumption, I am the controller. So when we understand the knowledge, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Whatever happening with us is because of Krishna's activity, Krishna's willing, it is happening. When we get to understand that, then what will happen? Then that kind of soul, that is a great soul, that person is great soul, then he is very rare in this material world. That's what Krishna is saying in this sloka. So once he understands this, he will surely, what he will do? Nobody will waste time, right? So we came to know this material world is temporary. Our life also temporary. We are not going to gain anything in this material world by exploiting them, by wasting their time. So the topmost thing we have to do is to understand about the Lord, realization, self-realized that. What is my self-realization? We understand our position. Our position is not to control over here. we are the temporary person in this material world. Temporary Lord is sending to us in this prison house. So the prison house, how the prison house he Lord made in this material world also, our government is made a prison house. So how the government not only made the prison house, it made the many other places also, schools, hospital, park, many things is made. The government has made. So wherever we wanted to go, it is our determination. Our activity, it will take to that. Our interest, it will take to that place. If you want to go to park, if you're interested to go to park, you won't breach the law of nature. Then you will get into we can go to the park. So if you breach the law of nature, what will happen? The police will arrest you. They will put you in the jail. So again, you need to realize there, okay, I came to the jail. I did a mistake. Because of that, I came to the jail. Then I should not come again in this jail. Like that, the person who get into the jail, you have to realize. That's the reason the government gives the punishment to that person. Then once he come out, he should not repeat the same issue, the same problem. Then he can live in this outside freely. But if the person repeated the same thing without knowledge, then again the government catch hold and put it in the jail again. So this is what happening in the current situation with all the living entities, around 99% of the living entities, human being, it is happening. Because we don't have the knowledge. What is the purpose of life? We are thinking that we wanted to lord it over this material world and enjoying this material world. And somebody feeling that I need to suffer in this material world. All those things they are thinking, and because of their mind, what they are doing, they are captivated by this material illusionary energy of the Lord, Maya. They are remain in this material world only. So they are getting into the path of birth, death, old age, and disease. Repeatedly, they are coming, and without the knowledge of Supreme Abode, they know only the knowledge of little knowledge about this material world. They are rotating here only. So when a person understands his position, he is a servant of the Lord. He has to. This is not a place to live, a good place to live. The Lord is ready to take us back to this material world if you follow what Lord is saying that to rules and regulations. If you follow that, automatically we can go back to this material world. When the person knows, that person can go back to Godhead. And also there is a Markandeya Muni story is there. The Markandeya Muni story, he wanted to not to get affected by the time, because he got the curse that when he reached at the age of 16, he will die. So the Markandeya Muni, he was afraid of his death at the time of when he entered the 16, the age of 16. So immediately he went and hold Lord Shivalinga. Then the Yama came and he tried to pull it, but like Shiva also, he catch hold of Shiva also. So now Yama can't do, we can't pull Shiva also. Then Shiva told, okay, what do you want? He asked to this Markandeya Muni. The Markandeya Muni told, I want to be ever 16. The time should not affect my body. I always remain in 16, so I should not die. Like that, he asked the boon. Then Shiva also provided, okay, you will always ever 16. So he was living multiple manvantras, many years, many thousands of years, millions of his parampara, the birth, death of his children and children, and like that. This family lineage is going, millions of lineage gone, but still he was remaining in this material world. And finally the devastation time came. So entire world became devastation, full of water. Nothing, no living entities remained. So he was crying for that, what to do, where to go. He was helplessly crying. That time he was also struggling in the water. That time he saw there is a banyan leaf. It is coming, the green banyan leaf. There is a brightness in the banyan leaf. He was seeing from the long distance the banyan leaf is coming like this. So in that, Lord Krishna, he was tasting his toes. So why he is tasting this? Lord took this form because all the devotees of the Lord, they are saying that Lord's lotus feet is very sweet, very nectar. So he wanted to taste that. All my devotees are saying that how my toes will be tasted. how can the how will be a test will be test will be. So like that he wanted to test. So for that he took the Vadapatra sai, then he tasted his toes. So that form he was coming on the flow. Then in this Markandeya Muni he saw the Vadapatra sai, he was coming. Then he went near to the Lord. Then he understood that this is Lord Krishna is there. So then he begged the Lord. Then Lord asked, what do you want? The Lord asked, give me mukti. Because he asked Shiva. Shiva told, I cannot give mukti. Lord Krishna can only give mukti. So go and ask him. So then he met Lord over here. Then he asked mukti. Then Lord showed his Maya Leela also. So he immediately observed him in this body. So the Markandeya Muni went inside of this body, in the stomach, inside of the stomach of the Lord. He saw the same, whatever he saw in the outside of the world, the similar way he saw inside of the stomach also. There also the same devastation happening. There also there is a Vadapatra sai. There also he is there inside of that. So this is the Maya Leela he saw, the Markandeya Muni. So even we are like Markandeya Muni, we are prolonging this material world, but we will be frustrated. That's the reason we have to go with the time, abide with the time, and we need to try to clear this, our material, our punyas and papas. We need to leave everything over here, and we need to try to go back to God. Our goal of living in this material world is only to how always 24/7 our thinking should be, how can I get out of this material world? So for that, Lord also provided. So you don't want to do anything, just you connect with me always. Remember me always. So remember me always. How can remember? To the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chant the holy name of the Lord, we can always connect with Lord. That is the single mantra that is enough. From just chanting the name, holy names, we can reach the Dham at the end of our life in this material world. So in order to get out of this suffering permanently, we have to just need to chant the holy name. Then we can get out of this material world once for all. And once we reach the abode of the Lord, we won't come back again. That should be our goal. So today's sloka, we saw that even the demigods, nobody can escape from the time, devastating time. And but in the Lord's abode is not controlled by the time. Hare Krishna. Nandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.